All right, Johan, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Three, two, one. Welcome, everyone, to the Amp Up Podcast. Here, we are looking to inspire, equip, and connect worship leaders and musicians by providing meaningful insight, practical wisdom, and spiritual encouragement, enabling them to refine their gifts and talents for the glory of God. And I am here with the amazing, the wonderful, talented Yohan Varghese.
Let's go.
He is he is a keys player, not only a keys player, but he is also an Ableton tech. Come on, because we all know none of us wants that responsibility. So if you want that task in hand, you give it to Johan because he knows how to do his thing. Am I right, Johan?
It is. It is a hard responsibility, but it is fun and I love it.
Do you now?
I do.
I can't. It's so much. Having to handle all the sequence, all of the click stuff, making sure that everything is timeline, especially when you're having to cut things in and out. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
Especially on tour when like things change last minute and we have things back to back. Just it is crazy, but since I love it and it's like technical, I just love to do it. So yeah, I have fun.
I fell for you, man. Literally, like, when did we change the song? It's like, oh, we just changed it, like now. I I fell for you every time, and I'm like, Lord, give Johan the strength to press on and continue because it is a lot.
It is.
It is honestly a lot. But man, how are you doing this evening,
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's just a busy week, but happy to be here and excited.
bro? I'm excited to have you, man. If there's one thing that I can like, if there's always a memory that will stick with me about you, bro, is you just having one-liners
Oh yeah.
because you are a man of few words. So this conversation is gonna be really fun in that regards. But you and your one-liners, bro, just comes out of nowhere and it kills me every single time.
Yeah, I mean that's something I feel like I've grown up with. My parents have also pointed that out. They'd be like, they'd be talking about stories, and I just like come in with those one-liners. I don't know how it happens, but it's just in the moment, and it just happens. But
I was like, dude, he doesn't have to say anything, but when he does, it's so funny every time. But man, I will say this is a very unique conversation with you because of the fact that you have an entirely different background on how you view worship because you're not originally here from the United States.
I am not.
Would you like to state where you are from?
Sure. So I'm an international student. I'm here from India, and I've come here for college, and I'm a business major here at the University of Valley Forge. And I've grown up all my life in India until I was 19, and worship there. And I'm a pastor's kid, so I was raised up in the church, and worship has a entirely different view for me. So just coming from there to here, it's not completely different, but then there are a few aspects that I was new to and had to learn it. So yeah, it's a different view altogether.
And coming about that experience, what would you say is like as far as worship in India looks like compared to here in the United States? I do believe there's always a cultural difference within how one worship, how one praises God, because this is coming from the back that I've experienced both within the United States culture, but then also what the Latino culture seeks out in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so at least in my church, we have a really big audience and we cater to all kinds of people. We try to have songs which are reliable and we can connect with the old people, with kids, with young adults, with families. So when we have a Sunday morning service and we have a set list, we try to include everybody and we have old songs, hymns, and songs like that. But then when you go to churches here, we have churches which are really diverse, but then you have one kind of audience. Like if you were to choose the University of Valley Forge is young students, but then if you go to Hispanic churches, Hispanics, and then if you go to different churches here in the States, it's one kind of audience. So worship there is probably, I'm not gonna say catered to them, but then it's in one aspect. Like back at home, we try to include everybody. So sometimes worship can be all over the place, but then it's just good to see that we have songs from the past and we have new songs and trying different things and trying new things as well as also. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's one of the unique things for me, especially the opportunity of getting to meet people with different cultures, is that while we may have different backgrounds, different cultures, we're all praising the same God.
Yep.
And even then, like referring back to the Bible verse, of the fact that every tribe, every nation are going to proclaim that Jesus is King, that He is Lord,
Yep.
and you know, the fact that we can have this conversation here is a testament to the beauty of the gospel and how it transcends what we understand.
Yep.
Right? I can't imagine any other culture having this, where literally someone of a Latino background with someone from India
Yeah.
to be able to praise the same God, and the way that the Holy Spirit moves is very evident. And it's a cool thing just to have you like a part of this, be able to share your story. And you say you're a pastor's kid.
I am. Yes.
Shout out to all the PKs.
Let's
Right?
go.
We out here still breaking the norms. I would say I'm currently a pastor's kid now that my parents are pastors,
Okay.
but kind of like with the whole PK is the fact that my grandparents were pastors.
Okay.
So a lot of what I've grown to experience within like ministry and what the church atmosphere looks like stems from a lot of what they did. And where primarily my music background comes from,
Yeah.
because my grandfather actually left the secular I think it's not cumbia, like a tropical band that he used to have
Yeah.
before he got saved. But then once he got saved, he ended up using his gift to be able to minister in a church as a worship pastor. And it comes along both of my uncles and my mother, who had a big impact in my life with music,
Hmm.
right? Where both of my uncles were music directors, but they were piano player, and my mother, who is a vocal. And here I am, where my primary instrument is guitar, and also a little bit of vocals in that as well. I don't claim to be a singer like that, but if I
Yeah.
need to, I'm more than willing to do it. But that's kind of like the timeline in that, and then living with that background is also having church all my life.
Yeah.
Would you say that's similar to your life, or
It is pretty similar as well because my dad, when he started out, he finished his Bible college and he wanted to be a pastor. But when he got his position at the church, he was a worship pastor. That's how he started out. So he would lead worship every Sunday.
okay,
And my dad, he was primarily on the acoustic guitar and he would lead vocals as well. And once me and my siblings were born, he wanted us to like try to get into the musical aspect of it as well. So he wanted us to learn keys and we took lessons primarily when we were younger, and then just being in the church, getting being raised in the church, we were on the worship team as well. And then personally, I didn't like taking lessons, but then later when I started playing it, I started falling in love with the instrument and so falling in love with worship. And then that's how I started practicing more, and I my primary instrument is the keys, and I love to worship through that and then just playing in the church. So that's how I was raised. And then that was my musical background part of it. And then my dad became the pastor, and then after that, I just helped out with the worship team, and then he would lead sermons. So, yeah.
that's awesome. So how long you been playing keys?
I initially started out when I was probably 9 or 10, and then I took a whole lot of gaps in between. I had classical training, and then I stopped, and then I practiced again, and then stopped, and then I think when COVID hit, that's when I actually started becoming better and like practicing. That's so over 2020. That's when I actually started getting into it.
Dang, yo, literally, I don't even know if we're allowed to say it still or not, because there's like a whole thing like misinformation and things like that.
Oh yeah,
But 2020 was a year of either failure or growth for people,
that's true. Yeah,
and it gave everyone the time to figure out I need to do something, right?
yeah,
And it got into people getting into a lot more creative space and creative outlets, whether it was music, whether it was art, whether it was doing anything that they could. And I really love the fact of how much people had grown in their creativity during that, because I mean, you had it all the time.
Yeah.
pretty much.
We had a keyboard at home, and that would be in the living area. So every time we passed through it, I would just be like, you know what, it's just lying there. I can practice on it and try to learn something new. So I took that time to learn, and I would watch YouTube videos, and that's when Elevation, Hillsong, they were releasing albums during that time. So I just started watching it, and I'm primarily self-taught when it comes to the worship side of it, because I took classical training and learned all the basics. But when it comes to worship and contemporary music, that's where I was self-taught and tried to learn through YouTube and Google and stuff like that. So yeah.
So, what would be like some of the takeaways you have, like separating the classical to um, more your CCM now?
So I would say with classical, that gives you the foundation, and it helps you probably get your skills and helps you get the fundamentals of it. But then later you can use that into the worship, and then for CCM is basically chords and stuff. But then how you can make it sound more beautifully, that comes down to your classical training, like how you know your skills, and the more better you are, that comes down to your foundation and fundamentals. So the better you are at your beginning stages of it, the better you can be.
And I think that's a unique experience for you
Mm.
and how you grown in that because while we go towards more like self-taught and like, hey, you know what, like I really love the sound of like this song, so I'm gonna practice it and everything, but not having the foundation to
Yeah,
understand what you're actually doing, I wouldn't say it necessarily hinders you, but you have a lot more of an advantage in how you grow in understanding
yeah,
music. Um, and it's going down just to the root of it all. And at least for, I wouldn't say that was the case for me, but applying the fact that I was through middle school and high school that I was in band,
yeah,
and you know, at least for me personally, I didn't take it as seriously as I should have.
yeah,
I enjoy playing the saxophone, but I was really hindered by the fact that it was hard for me to play saxophone and also be asthmatic. I
yeah.
did it and I loved it. I love the sound of a saxophone, but it's definitely harder for me to go back into going to do. But a lot of the foundation was based on that I was able to apply into my guitar playing.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember what was the first song you ever learned?
I think it was Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace?
Yeah, that was when it came to the worship side of it. That was my first one. Yeah.
I can't say the same for me as far as a worship. I had a guitar teacher,
Okay.
and the first song I went through was "Hurt" by Johnny Cash,
Oh, okay.
which is like nobody's ever gonna play it in a church scenario or
Yeah.
anything, but just to learn the basic of like strumming or rhythm, that was the first song, and it's a beautiful song to this day, especially with the way that Johnny Cash performs it.
Yeah.
Um, and oh my gosh, he's here comes the worship leader playing like secular songs,
Yeah.
and but I mean, and that's a hard topic to talk about is knowing that a lot of the roots of what we build up in our playing is based on things that we do listen to, things that
Yeah.
we've heard. And I think in a scenario is taking back, hey, you know what? I'm applying the things that I've learned in these songs and being able to apply it back for God that I'm able to apply it to the church,
Yeah.
right? Not necessarily to say that I'm never going to play hurt in church, right?
Hey,
Because
we do the greatest showman during praise, so you know.
hey, but like even in that, so
Yeah.
I I enjoy it. I enjoy watching those TikTok remixes of somebody taking a worship song and being able to mash it up to something else. This is a conversation I had with Alicia too,
Okay.
where you can add things like that,
Yeah.
but it's it's so much in context of where you're at to be able to do something like that where you're not distracting or hindering worship.
Then that's true. So I would say, I personally don't see it as anything wrong, as long as it doesn't stand out, because sometimes you do stuff for social media for content, so it is pretty fun, and then when you get to praise God with it, because when people listen to it, they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, when you do it during a hype set, it's fun, but then probably if you do it during a worship set and if it distracts people, then yeah, that could be seen as something wrong. But then I don't see it as something that bad. It could be really fun to try something new.
And it's really hard to explore that kind of space too, where you want to explore in that scene, but at the same time, how much can you how much would it be a distraction for someone else to do it in the moment? Like we were all still talking about that. Remember when we were doing Everybody Wants to Rule the World with
Oh yeah.
with What does it take you at your word?
Oh yeah,
Because it works. And it wasn't something I was thinking about it. I was just playing this little melodic line in there, and I'm like,
it
why
kind
does
of
this all
fits. Yeah.
familiar? And then you started playing that progression there, and it
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness, this would be such a beautiful remix. But yeah, everybody's beating us to it
Yeah.
now, because now like as I thought about it as we were playing it, now like all I see in my feed is people doing that remix, and I'm like, dang, that would have been such a good content.
Yeah.
That would have been fire to do. But what would you say to that to somebody who tells you, hey, like oh, you guys are doing it to show off, or you guys are doing it, hey, you know, it seems you guys are looking to edify yourself instead of the church.
I would say obviously you should know the context of it. Like if you're going to a church and doing it, if you do it at a young camp, if you a youth camp and you do it there, I don't think anyone's gonna mind. If you go to church on a Sunday morning, depending on the audience, in a church with a younger audience, I think they'll vibe to it. As long as it's a small part and it doesn't distract everybody. Knowing the context of your audience, if they're older people, they might not see it as something that you're supposed to do on a Sunday morning. So just knowing what to do where, just the context and knowing the audience.
I think knowing the audience is
Yeah.
critical because I imagine if I was doing that for like people in their 40s or 50s that know that song,
Yeah.
I know automatically whatever we even try to play or even send a message, like we're trying to bring a Bible verse into a song like that, and they're gonna be like, "What are y'all doing?" Right?
Yeah.
Eh,
Because that at chapel would probably not be seen as good, but you do it at breakaway, it's no problem. So it's just like just knowing the event or knowing your audience. So yeah.
Having like such a hype like culture behind like the
Yeah.
worship set or anything, and it can be fun because I also do believe like come on, we had to express that joy of the Lord.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the fact that I get to wake up and I'm not gonna be like, the Lord is doing incredible things.
Yeah.
Like, God bless you, brother. Like, I'm filled with so much joy in my life. Like, no, bro.
Yeah, you,
Like,
you, you gotta be excited and be full with joy. So yeah.
we get to wake up, bro.
Yeah.
We don't even take that into account. We get to
That's
wake
true.
up. We get to breathe. We get to eat delicious food, bro.
Yeah.
That's a miracle in itself, and we
I
take it for granted.
I get to live life here, just try out something new, and sometimes probably I take it for granted, but then when you look back and see your journey, and then you see how far you've come, and where you are right now is probably something you prayed for in the past. So it's just trying to be full with joy and just having a good time. So yeah, praising the Lord.
Definitely, bro. Can't take that stuff for granted.
Yeah,
I get to wake up. I get to have this conversation with you, bro, with one of my favorite human beings, bro,
it's
from
all you.
India. This is what we get to do here, bro, in 2025.
Yeah,
This is something we couldn't even do 50 years ago.
that's crazy. Yeah,
We
just
couldn't
sitting and
even
talking.
we couldn't even talk, bro. And here we are getting to have this conversation. Like I said, and the same experience of how like God is working through us.
Yeah,
Because I seen the way that God has used you. Like the fact that I had the opportunity to tour with you in this last year,
hmm.
it's been an incredible experience, man. Because like you've always been just so willing, and I've seen it where you're just working like night, bro, late at night or your early morning, getting like these sessions ready. You're talking with students and even just like helping being a part of a team for like anything that's happening, bro.
Yeah,
Like it's those moments that I'm not gonna forget.
that's true. Yeah.
Like we can see it as the fact that like we're family, we're here together and everything, but like, bro, it's been an amazing time being with you.
It has been,
Genuinely.
yeah. Like traveling with you and the team this summer, like seeing everybody grow, like starting with our first rehearsal. Because right now, being on a new team, that's I'm back to square one. So trying to see how everybody grows and taking the moment. Because when you look back, our first rehearsal was pretty good, but then the wave have grown so far and come so far, and then just helping each other build each other up. So that's been a great experience, especially over the summer and through the semester bookings.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say like? Because we talked about it with Kevin, um, and I love something he mentioned was the fact that like not looking as rehearsals or practice as hey we're getting into the technical things of what we're
Yeah.
doing, right? You're getting the stems ready, the click, the backing track. You're getting the right sounds on your keyboard. You're practicing. You get prepared. Where's the fine line for you in the technicalities, but also the spiritual side of what we're doing. I love that he stated this is, hey, worship, your rehearsal should be worship too.
Yeah.
And up until like hearing that, like I never thought of it that way. Because it needs to be a time for technicalities,
Yeah.
perfecting it. But how much is it that we're inviting God even into those rehearsals to say, you know what? This should just be a time of, hey, worship.
That's true. I would say my first year, we would to the technical side of it, like having everything ready so that you're prepared. For us, it was preparing for the summer. So having everything ready so we're united and all on the same page. And that's the backside of it. But then when you show up to rehearsals, we are practicing what we hope to do. But then when the Lord comes, that's when you probably just stop what you had planned. And then when the Spirit flows, you just take over from there. Because my first year, mostly we would finish early, but then we would like just go into times of worship and then we would practice, not practice spontaneous worship, but then, just worshiping and, being together as a team to see how that goes and just leaving room for the Lord to move and just having great times of worship there. So, yeah.
No, definitely. And I think it's also a great way of building as a team.
Yeah.
Centering the fact that like what we're doing is not just based on what we can do, but allowing and inviting the Holy Spirit in those times is really crucial for a team. It's really crucial for any place that you're with someone else is being united by the Spirit.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you just don't have God present in anything that you're doing, there's trouble, man. And
Yeah.
and you feel a lot more weight about everything that you're doing. Mostly because you're not prepared spiritually as you should be.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying this from the fact of experience that I've had with like people where I realize like you're doing this for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And you have those times where you do experience burnouts. You get tired because you're not really being filled with the Holy Spirit. You're not taking that time outside to say, you know what, Lord, I invite you to this space. I invite you to my practice, my time of learning, and just my time of peace here with you. And just, that God, that you would just have your way in this. I don't know. What can you say about like your experience in that?
I would say, because if you look back to our first week at Kentucky, first and second week, I feel like all of us were being like attacked spiritually, and then we were not being able to focus, and it was evident because everybody would be ticked off by the slightest thing. So just, being together and um I lost my train of thought, but yeah, just I feel like, yeah, we were being attacked, and then it was evident on stage. But then just keeping the Lord as center, and taking the time out to worship Him, that probably helped a lot.
No, and definitely like even in the midst of that, in the way that as long as we're having God at the center of everything that we're doing, and what there's no limit on what God can do with His people.
Yeah,
As long as we're being susceptible to His presence and we're just listening to what He wants to do, it's so important.
yeah,
Because even then, like forget about any of the technicalities that we know what we can make sound amazing or anything like that. At the end of the day, at the end of the night, it's not about anything that I can't do. It's all about what God can do.
yeah,
And I want to be more open to that than anything than strive on my own pride or my own ego to think that I can have God move in the way that I want.
yeah,
And even He's not going to do what I want.
yeah,
He knows the desires of my heart, but I want it to be most importantly known that it should be like God before anything that I do.
yeah.
And especially in those and these different experiences. God bless you, bro.
Thank you, sir.
That
Yeah,
it has to be important, bro.
yeah.
And I don't know what other takeaways were you have about, with the team last year.
Team last year, well, it took time to get off, as a team, and because we're getting off from another team, so we still had semester bookings, and you were on your team as well. So,
I'm about to leave you, Johan.
don't say that.
We're about to be separated.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing holding us now is semester bookings and breakaway.
Dang, bro, and that's it.
Yeah,
We're done after that.
and then I have another year. But yeah,
What
I'll truly miss you. But like I was saying, I feel like We both had our year one, and then we were on different teams, and trying to bring stuff from that team into a new team where now everybody's together, where we have returners and new people, and the new people don't know what's going on, but the old people have stuff from their own teams. So just trying out new stuff. So we had to like take time to talk and just get on the same page and try things which everybody would get it, and then trying to include everybody, because sometimes, you know, let's say two people talking to try out one idea, but then everybody else doesn't know. So it just took time to get everybody united. And but then once summer hit and we took off, well, by the end of the summer we were all like on the same page, and especially summer semester bookings and breakaway. That's when we all just logged in, and it obviously took time, but then that's what this semester is for, to have those practices and have those hard talks, because obviously this is a team, and everybody is good by themselves. So, like, you can play various genres, and I can do my thing, and everybody has their own specialty and capability. But then when it comes together as a team, you need to make sure we're doing it for the Lord, and staying true to the mission and vision,
Yeah.
and taking off from there. So yeah.
Dang. That's true, bro. Being with each other for an entire summer, almost every day, it changes you.
It does. Yeah.
You get to know everybody like on a personal level.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, dude, it's a different environment. It's a different change, but I'm here for it, man. Especially how much we could grow and bond with one another. Especially just seeing like the calling on each of our lives.
Yeah.
Getting to see it in your lives and the lives of everyone else on our team. It's so evident in the way that God moved in our lives, but also like, I love the prayer of Moses where, you know, God, you're taking us to the promised land, but we don't want to go
If you're not there.
if you're not there with us. And that's always my prayer for anything that I do in life. Say, you know what, like, not my will, but your will be done. And God, I don't want to go anywhere unless you're not here present with me.
Yeah.
I want you to go before me. You know, I'll stay behind, but I want to see you move first. I want to
Yeah.
see you do this first. And it's been evident that everywhere that we go, like even when we think that like we probably did the worst
Yeah.
or something, or some like mishap something, like God was moving
That's
and
true.
God
Yeah.
was changing the lives of the students, and it's the reason why I love that I get to do what I do.
Yeah, because when we like lead people in a time of worship, because that's a time we worship as well. But then if we look into the technical side of it, oh, I made a mistake, I hit a bum note. But then the kids, they're not worried about that. They're worshiping, and many of them come with their own challenges and their own struggles. But then when they come to the place at the altar, they're trying to leave it all behind. And I feel like those things don't matter anymore. The mistakes we make, they're just there to worship and seek the Lord. So yeah.
And trust me, I have a record the most amount of bum notes every time, and
No,
it's
I do
always
too.
at the worst time, man. There's the moments that I'm just like I'm worshiping, I feel God's presence, and
Yeah.
it's just a ding, you're like,
Yeah. No, it'll be during altar, because I'm closing my eyes and just I'm like, I got it. I'll keep things simple. But then you just hit the wrong note, and then everybody just looks. So I
it's-
mean, it's
you had the chance to jazz it up at least during altar, but once I start swelling on that note
yeah.
with that reverb and
It
delay,
keeps going.
it keeps going, and everybody's just there like,
Lord, that
I
is
got
not what I
this,
asked
bro.
for.
No, for real, bro. It's just you'll remember that, and you know what? I think God does that in our life just to humble us.
That's true. Because I have I have so many stories where the Lord has humbled me, and it gets to your head sometimes, because oh, I did so good. This is this happened because of me, but it's no, because it's due to the Lord. Like, you do what you do because of Him, and you're in that position because of Him. So, like,
Yeah.
he has a good way to humble everybody. So yeah.
I, I love the analogy. Like, hey, you're so mad that like you ever been like mad because like you just can't find your keys or something,
uh,
and then like your shirt gets caught on the doorknob or something.
oh
You're just
yeah,
like, God's like, shh,
it's
take it
right.
easy, man. Take it easy. You know, I love those things, man. But like, and then let's see if I can ask you this too. Like, and then as far as like your gear setup and everything,
Mm,
right? Like, what do you look to on those inspiration? Because I say to myself, like, I'm a huge John Mayer fan.
yeah.
I have a I would say mine is like a John Mayer board for CCM.
Okay. Yeah. I would say mine so far is like pretty basic. So I just have an Arturia Keylab 88, but then I try to. It all comes down to sounds and then using keyscapes and trying to dial it into the more,
Yeah.
elevation and Hillsong type of worship. Like just finding those patches, which obviously, there's a saying where the Lord is, the Lord is. But,
No
just, but then, it's probably not about the gear, but that's one aspect where all the musicians love towards.
Yeah.
They love fancy gear and everything. Like obviously, I love it too, but you got to make do with what you have. So just worshiping the Lord and like having just great sounds and you know
Yeah.
yeah
No, definitely. I think it's also understanding that in what we do, we don't need anything.
yeah
We really don't. And I love what Gavin said too, bro. Like, yo, it's not about us. And I think the best instrument that God created in you is literally your voice.
yeah.
Cause
There's a whole genre for that. It's acapella.
bro, Johan's gonna start an acapella group right now.
We have a quartet barbershop.
What would you call it?
hmm.
The Varghese. What is it?
Varghese, yeah, but uh,
Dang, I messed up my own joke. I forgot.
oh.
I bummed on that joke, man. Dang, bro. See, I can only go so far with comedy. I can only go so far with the jokes I have, and usually it just doesn't land.
No, you
Which is
got
kind
it.
of what makes that funny.
And then that's right.
Like, man, I don't know. The Varghese Quartet.
Oh, that.
We'll
That'd be
get your
pretty cool.
brother involved too.
You got three, you need one more. So,
I definitely feel like if it was somebody on our team that would be a part of that, right? It's gonna be you, me. I definitely feel like it will be Joe
it would be Joe, yeah.
and Ava.
That's a that'd be pretty cool.
We're
But
just
then
gonna start acapella.
it's like in between Ava and Ange, because they're in between. So yeah.
Andrew would do it too. Now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it, I should be like, oh, yeah, let me hop on that. I would do that too. Don't roast me, Ange. She's gonna be like, you bum. Love you, Ange. No, man. This is literally how the summer goes for us. Especially like, well, I wouldn't even say we had late night talks, bro, because you would pass out on me all the time.
Not at night. Bro, that was my time to shine. Like in the mornings, probably.
I'm like, I'm tired. I'm getting to the next stop, and Johan's like, yo, I'll be with you. All right, I'm gonna stay up with you. I got you. Not even 10 minutes later, I see this man just
On the bus?
yeah.
Oh, those are in the morning. Yeah,
I needed my passenger princess.
I got you.
So I got-
What's the next one? This weekend? I got you.
well, we got Jersey, which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna
It shouldn't be that long. Probably an hour and a half.
I don't remember how long it takes. I also just don't like driving. I don't like driving in general. I'll do it if I have to.
Yeah.
Like, I think the longest drive was definitely from coming from SLD, Georgia, all the way to Ohio for fine
Oh,
arts.
yeah.
When I tell you that felt long,
Oh, last year. Yeah.
that felt like the longest ride ever. Like
Yeah.
driving.
That seems pretty long though. Yeah.
I think it was like maybe 12, 13 hours
Oh.
from
yeah.
what I recall.
I think my longest has been 11 and a half. It's been either it was from here to Kentucky or it was Ohio for last year's for summer camp.
Where?
Ohio for
I was about to think. I was like,
my
we
my,
did-
my, my first year.
oh, your first year. I was
Yeah.
like, the only time I went to Ohio was for fine arts,
I don't know.
which that was amazing. I'd never been to fine arts.
Oh, that's pretty fun. Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be like that.
I mean, this was my first time because obviously I didn't grow up here, so I have no clue what fine arts is. I had the general idea, but then you go to like your first time is at nationals, so it's just getting to see the whole thing, and then it is like really cool.
I was
So,
thinking in my mind, I was like, I didn't know we did this.
oh, yeah.
Like, and mind you, I haven't been in AG that long, and the district that I was a part of, we didn't do that. That wasn't available to us. So the fact that I got to experience that,
Yeah.
it's amazing what I was like, dang, I didn't know we could do that.
That I mean, that's a good opportunity for kids to like show their skills and get more practice into what they want to do. So yeah.
I was amazed by the categories they have. I
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
I was like, man, I didn't know we could do all that. Like acapella grooves to like hip hop grooves to like arts and crafts and like
Human
just
video and music and
human
everything.
videos.
Yeah.
You cannot get me on a human video, bro.
I mean, you could try it.
I don't think I could ever. I'd be in the wrong place just to be like swaying my body in there. I was like some really deep song, and then trying to do a stunt where like somebody has to carry me, and I'm like,
Or you could like cat somebody.
or yeah, actually yeah, I could do that. Nobody needs to carry me. I don't know. I'm always interested in seeing all that and just like getting to see the students from that.
Yeah.
I will say there is a different side of it that I don't particularly enjoy because
Okay.
it's very competitive too.
Oh, there. Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like y'all gonna break some dreams on this one.
Yeah. And like, how do you like, rank preaching? It's like how the Lord spoke to you versus how the Lord spoke to you. So I don't. Yeah.
There's a fine line in that,
That's true.
and I think it shouldn't even be a fine arts category if we're being honest. I think it should be an opportunity of, hey, you know what, like. How about you just go into your discipleship class? Get you a mentor in your church,
Yeah.
your local church that can teach you that. Talk to your pastor and say, hey, I have these notes and everything. Can you walk with me on that? Making sure, like, I'm not saying anything heretical, things like that. I've said something heretical once, and I'll share it here. So this was 2020, and I started pastoring
Oh yeah.
for my church at the time because I wanted to open up an English congregation because we started getting a lot more English speaker, and they opened that door for me. And at the time, I was in Bible Institute, so I'm still learning. I'm still growing, even to this day. Like I said, like there's things that I'm still learning. And one of the things I mentioned in my message was, oh, like you already know I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I
Oh
used to
yeah.
say, yo, like guys, like God is stronger than the Force. He is the Force, right?
Yeah.
And everything. I had to do a heart check on that. Where somebody was like, ain't no way you just did that comparison
Oh,
with a fictional thing, right?
yeah.
And I had to admit that I was wrong. And literally like, and this came about the fact with my mentor, my pastors, they were like, you probably shouldn't have said that. I was like, yeah, but like,
Trying to be relatable.
I try to make it relatable, but you know what? God doesn't need any like
Analogy. Yeah.
he doesn't need as much analogy as like what we try to look for him. Because then I don't want to steer people the wrong way thinking that like Star Wars is of God.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not. Oh, God is my force and all these things. Like
Yeah.
no, I don't want to do that.
That's
And
true.
and those are the things that like you know what? Just talking to the right people and what we're doing, it helps a lot. I mean, I had to admit it. I literally like the next Sunday I had to preach. I was like, yeah, I got that all wrong. I shouldn't have said any of that.
Yeah.
So that put me in a bad spot. But like I said, I'm learning. I'm growing. Yeah. I don't think I need fine arts for that. Be like, nope. Next, we're gonna get the next guest here. They're like, oh, just tell me that my message sucked. That's fine.
Yeah.
Do they have fine arts in India at all?
No.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't grow up with that aspect, and I never knew what that was until I came here, and then I heard about it, and then just heard from different people because people here on campus have gone to fine arts and they've competed in it. So just hearing their side of it, that's how I kind of heard of it.
And are you part of an AG church?
I am. Yeah.
You are? Okay. Yeah. I was a part of it for almost 10 years.
Okay.
But recently left. Not because of anything like
Yeah.
AG wise or anything like that, like to start a controversy. It was just that, being here on campus at school and everything, like I just ended up leaving my church because there was no way that I was going to be able to. There was no way I was going to be able to commit time to it, especially how much I was going to be back home.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Makes
like-
sense. Yeah.
Literally being back home for like maybe Thanksgiving and
Christmas and
Christmas. It was no way that I was gonna be able to be that committed, especially pastoring at the time and also leading worship as well. Like it was gonna be difficult for me to do. So I just ended up leaving that church and couldn't do it. And then now that my parents have started their old church, there's already a year afterwards with Monte Sinai,
okay.
which is Mount Sinai. They started their church as of last year, 1 year growing, and it's been awesome.
That's pretty
So
good. Yeah.
a part of that. But like I said, I can only commit so much
Yeah.
being that I travel and get to serve at many local churches, which I'm thankful for. I'm happy about that. And we get to serve at one church together, which is
Oh
always
yeah.
fun
Yeah, that's really cool.
because you get to play a whole
Grand.
grand
Nord.
piano, man, bro. But
I
you
mean,
still rather take the Nord?
yeah, because I just love it. I okay on the grand, you know, you got to wire it up, and then it bleeds, and you hear everything else. But on the Nord is where the Lord. But yeah, it is really cool.
You rather take the Nord over the grand piano?
Any day. Because the Nord can emulate the sounds of a grand, even they both are weighted, you know. But this has more to it.
I don't think my uh, God is the force analogy was as heretical as what you're saying right now.
That's crazy.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
No, but then, I mean, on the Nord you have like organs and synths and stuff like that. You can try new things. Like if I were to give it just a guitar with no pedals, you know,
Okay, now you're
and
stepping
there
out
you
of
get
line now.
it.
No, even then, like, and I think that's also a different dichotomy of the fact that's like you spend so much on gear. Like,
Yeah.
I had the option of having stereo in my guitar,
Oh, there.
but I'm pretty sure about like 90% of the churches that I do go to don't even have stereo options.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, nice to have the option, but most times I'm not gonna have it,
That's
or
yeah.
like full rigs or anything like that. Those kinds of churches will humble you.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas like we're just excited that you're here worshiping with us. We don't have like the greatest sound or anything, but yet God still moves, and you're like, it's definitely humbling to say like, you know what, you don't need those things.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't need it. You don't need a Nord, Johan. You play
I
beautifully
mean,
with the Arturia.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm saying that right.
Or true. Yeah.
Plus the fact that you could do like 1,000 things on there,
That's true.
connected with a
Yeah.
laptop, all the sounds, all the
Everything on there.
presets, all these things that you could download, which is a crazy thing to also imagine. Like, I was there for this time, right? Because
Yeah.
my uncle, he has the Yamaha motif.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. That's
It-
beautiful.
He still has some of the little memory discs,
Oh.
the floppy disk,
Oh, yeah. I remember those. Yeah.
if you wanted sound.
Yeah.
Now you get like thousands of sound right on your keyboard, like
Yeah.
in like 2 seconds. Nah, bro, it's like, oh, I want a grand piano. Let me get this floppy disk on there and let me put it into my board.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shoot, maybe I want like a clavinet sound. I gotta put that in there.
My very first keyboard, like we had that option to have the floppy disk, even though it would work without it as well. It was like electric with the floppy disk, so we never used it. But then I had to look it up what it did, and it was like pretty interesting to see how it worked. Yeah,
Yeah, because I forget how many size file it has. Let me check.
probably not that much.
I need to know. Because that's actually, it actually gave me a size. Oh, an 8-inch floppy disk had 1 megabyte.
That's crazy. You get like one patch on it.
You get half a patch on that. Look, and then if you're up there and you got a 3.5, it could hold 1.44 megabyte.
And you need like two floppy disks just to go mono.
That is crazy to think about. And this is stuff we take for granted, Johan.
Yeah,
This is stuff that we said, man, you get 1,000 sounds out of your Arturia. You don't need the
Yeah.
Nord, bro. Literally, like if I wanted to keep my board simple, I would just keep my HX Stomp,
yeah,
the whatever electric guitar choice, or not even that. All right, the Spark amp.
oh that yeah,
The fact that like I can make whatever patch, whatever tone, like straight out of the amp. You know, if I was stuck on an island and I have one piece of gear, it'd probably be the Spark amp
Amp, yeah.
because it's also a Bluetooth speaker,
That's true.
and I could get whatever tone I want.
I feel like I would probably like the Nord over the Arterias because it's reliable. Because there have been times like over this summer as well where my thing has crashed, and and I just freak out, but I'm like, we'll get through it. And then so it's just the aspect of the reliability, and then the Nord is analog, so it's not gonna crash. So yeah,
And you don't need a floppy disk.
that's true.
The fact that you had a piano still with that option it's a crazy thing. Like,
Yeah,
literally one patch per each floppy disk is a crazy thing. And now they probably don't even go for anything. And now like the quality of experience and sounds that you can have on it is
oh yeah,
insane to think about. Man. So that would be your gear if you were stuck on an island. It's a Nord.
yep.
You said that's what I'll
Doesn't work.
I'll just take that over a grand piano that's sitting next to you.
Yep, any day.
My gosh.
Okay, but I was not raised classical. Like I did classical for some time, but then like any classical person would say the grand or the Nord. But then I'm into worship and CCM. That's where you have like reverb and compressors, everything on it. So me personally, I would go over with the
All right.
Nord.
I'm gonna set up this debate for y'all. All right. All right. You have the options right in front of you. Are you gonna choose to all my keys player or objectively what you guys think? Right? Are you guys gonna choose a grand piano or you guys are gonna go with? Let me go with the basis of just a what would you call it? Onboard piano,
Oh yeah,
something like that.
and analog.
And, all right. So if you have the options to go with a grand piano or on analog keyboard, wow, I don't know what I was saying there. If you had the option to go with a grand piano or an analog keyboard, which one would you go for? That is the question. Man said he will stick with the Nord instead of a grand piano.
I would like to specify it's just a stage 3 or 4. So yeah,
He said if it's a 2, I'm still taking that grand piano.
that I will use that as a MIDI controller.
Are you serious?
I did at my old church because I didn't know how to use it, and then I spent my first year summer with the stage 3, and I learned everything on it. So now the 3 and 4 is relatively new, so that's kind of similar. So I kind of know how to operate that.
The question still stands. I still can't believe that.
Let us know what you think: grand piano or an
you're
analog
on-
keyboard.
If you're on Yohan's side, give it a thumbs up. Because ain't no way, bro. That might be the controversy right there. Forget anything that I said. That's probably controversial there.
That you know what? Just for that, I'm gonna put that on my story today, and I will let you know the result.
If you guys are following Yohan,
Watch it.
well, by the time this is posted,
Oh, that's
the
true.
story is going to be long
But
gone.
let us know probably in the chat below.
Man. Oh, that's so funny, dude. You're gonna stir things up, man. But bro, I appreciate having this conversation. I appreciate you being here,
Yeah,
man.
I'm happy to be here, man.
I love getting to hear your story, just your experience, and even these heretics things, bro. You be saying, bro. He don't want to take the grand piano.
Hey, what's life without a little spice? You got to.
This is the one-liners I'm talking about. He could have not said anything, and that's all he could have said, and it still kills me. He said, put a little spice on there. Oh my gosh. I'm stunned. I honestly don't know.
Hey, being from a different country, you need spice, especially land of spices.
Well, I mean, you guys carry. Well, I think you guys got beaten.
Hmm?
India used to have the hottest pepper in the world.
Oh, that. I don't. We have a ton of spices though.
Y'all definitely do.
Yeah.
Y'all have Mexico beat, bro.
Oh.
I know what I can do with my habaneros, but when you guys come in with your ghost pepper,
Oh, that. Yeah. We our level of spices altogether is different. So yeah.
wait, I don't even recall. Do you eat spicy food?
I do. Like, I love it to a certain level. I don't like it when it starts like burning my mouth. And like I will take more than average. I can like eat a whole lot of spice, but then I don't like it like killing me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely got to be like a good flavor on there. I can't stand it when it's just hot to be hot.
Yeah, that's true.
I've had one like that. And it tasted horrible.
Yeah, like if you take like the flaming Cheetos, that's just hot, really spicy just for no reason. But add flavor with it and put in a dish or something. That's pretty good.
Nope. Yep. That's not for me. All right. To close this out, I'm
Okay,
gonna ask you a question.
sure.
All right. What talents or skills do you have that most people don't know about?
Hmm, that's a good question. Huh.
Taking the Nord over grand piano. That's your talent.
My talent, well, not anything I can think on top of my head.
I have one.
Go for it.
You're fast, bro.
Fast food.
You are a fast runner.
Oh, that.
Like
I mean, I got
I
little legs, so just keep moving those.
I seen it where like we're doing games and getting involved with like the students things. And brother, you be sprinting. I never find you.
For Kentucky, were you on pink team the first week?
Yeah, I was on pink
Yeah,
team.
so we had the whole like race all across, the whole campground, and then I just had to make sure all the kids like had to make sure every post was taken care of. I had to run behind the kid all around. I'm like, you know what? They're faster than me, but I had to like catch up and
I
just
remember that.
yeah.
No, but it was the fact that you were outrunning these kids that are all in their relay races, and you're just outrunning every single one of them.
Like, guys, you gotta catch up, do better.
The the man barely talks. He plays his keys, wanting to offend people wanting to play on a Nord, but is also like one of the fastest runners I know. Cause literally, it just be one of those. I see you. You have to go do something. It's just you're
It's all
gone.
gone to do.
I would say that. I think that's a hidden talent that you have. You're just fast.
But, I appreciate it.
Golly, bro. All right, Yohan. I thank you for being a part of this podcast. You
Thank you
have
for
been an
having me.
amazing time, bro. I love you. And to all of you, whenever you guys are watching this, if you guys are having a good morning, a good evening, thank you guys for following up on the Amp Up podcast. And I hope you guys have a great time. God bless y'all.
See you. And if the Lord, puts it on your heart to donate for the Lord, just my cash app will be down below.
And we're cutting.
Wait, did you not cut?
No.
Oh,
I'm leaving that in.
as you should. You should have that, that beep, and then just